Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. You guessed it. Bluegrass Custom Q by Mr. Richard Harris. And what you're looking at right here is the coolest bluegrass that I have had the personal pleasure of playing with, exemplifying, and just flat out enjoying. Now, what I'm gonna guess that this wood is, okay, and it's a guess, but I will tell you that I've done some research and I've checked with some really knowledgeable people. So what I like to do, if I don't know exactly what a wood is, and I know some of you're already thinking exactly what I am, if I don't know what a wood is, so for instance, if I haven't bought a Q, like in this case, brand new from a Q maker. This Q just came in from a high-end private collection. It's what we like to call a safe queen. Safe queen. It means that it's been taken care of really well. It's not brand new. The shafts actually could use a little bit of a cleanup. They're nice and straight though, and that's the important stuff. They could use a little bit of a cleanup. I'm not gonna send this off. I'm not gonna get anything done to it. We always make an executive decision when we look at a Q. We say, hey, does it need this? Does it need that? This bad boy right here has not seen daylight in a long time, and it just definitely deserves to get a new home, and a good home at that. And it is really tempting for me to hang on to. So without further ado, again, if you are not familiar, by the way, with bluegrass Qs, hence the giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, right? Bluegrass Qs are made by Mr. Richard Harris. Now, if I had a personal one-on-one relationship with Mr. Harris, I would verify the wood. I never claimed to be an expert, but here is what I really believe that is right there, and I know some of you feel the same way. That looks like Rosewood Burl, and it may actually be, what I really think it is Honduran Rosewood Burl. But either way, it's definitely a Rosewood Burl. Now, I also thought maybe it could be an Ambonia, but after further looking at it and showing it to some Q makers, we believe that's definitely some Rosewood Burl, and that is some fine wood, if I might say so. Let's enjoy that together for just a moment, and then I'll tell you about something else that's really cool about this Q. The reason I say this is by far the coolest Richard Harris that I've ever seen before. This has got a natural white joint. Never seen that before. That is the big pin 3/8 we like to call it a Southwest style pin. Richard Harris's Qs hit like King Kong. Let me say that again. Richard Harris's Qs hit like King Kong. If you want a Q that doesn't hit really hard, really firm, move on down the line. This is not the Q for you. But if you're like me, if you like something that has a commanding hit to it, when you hit a ball, it just seems to move effortlessly. I've said it before, this guy's Qs seem to have magic in them, okay? And the majority of them that we've sold, and many of you have seen the videos, they've been Birdseye Merry Widows. Here's the incredible thing about Richard Harris. He can get a Birdseye Merry Widow to hit like King Kong, like they have a really hard hit to them. Maybe it's the way that he builds them. Of course, the process has a lot to do with it. Maybe it's the big pin. I really don't know. For those of you that know, you know, and those that don't, I'm going to tell you, they have a very distinctive hit to them. I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you it's the best Q I've ever hit a ball with. Okay, that would be an exaggeration, or it would be something that's just flat out subjective, okay, because some of you like the way some Qs hit and some don't. But I'll tell you this, nice and straight, by the way, if you can see. 6-point, what I believe is Rosewood Burl into very highly figured maple right there. Looks like Birdseye maple. Could almost look like curly, but you can see the Birdseye's in there with that natural joint. How about that? But anyway, whatever he does, they hit really good. And that's why you don't see him on the resale market. This is a big Q for Richard Harris with the respect of that wood. That is definitely some really good premier wood right there. Premium wood, top shelf. That stuff is very expensive, okay? So for those of you that are wondering, hey, what's with the price tag on the Q? Well, number one, His cues are not cheap. To give you an idea, and many of you, again, that follow our videos have seen them before, a basic Birdseye Merry Widow from Richard Harris, just a Birdseye Merry Widow with basic ring work and 2 shafts. I've seen them regularly. We've sold them. Low end is going to be a couple thousand. They usually range about $2,200 to $2,500 on the resale market. I don't know what he charges, again, because I don't deal with him directly. I believe he's in Kentucky. I've heard nothing but great things about his cues, and I can attest for somebody that's played with them, they play good. Okay, now what you've got here, again, you've got the maple nose, okay? And then he does an ebony butt sleeve with the matching 6 floating boxes, floating windows, whatever you want to call them. Again, with that Rosewood Burl is what I believe. And then you have the white and black dash rings that are bordered or trimmed in silver. That is natural white material in the rings and at the joint. So needless to say, we will not ship this cue overseas, and there's also some shipping restrictions based on where you live. You might just have to fly up in here. You've got 2 shafts with it. Okay, so a couple different things I want to point out because we're all about full transparency. And if the cue was like in pristine, perfect condition, I would be much higher on the price tag. Number one, and it's nothing, you need to get the shafts cleaned. They roll nice and straight, both of them. There's no movement at all, no variation. These are 13 millimeter shafts. The other thing that I've noticed about every one of his cues that we've sold, he always seems to source some really, really good shaft wood. And you expect that, but believe it or not, some people just don't. He's not the kind of guy that's going to give you anything subpar. I can tell you that right now. So a little cleanup on the shafts. They're both straight. You can feel the rings, okay, a little bit. Like right here as I run my thumb over them, you can feel the rings through the finish. It's nothing that a little bit of a touch-up or actually a refinish wouldn't fix. I would not get this cue refinished. It seems to be in all original condition. I can't tell you that for sure, but the gentleman that sold it to me took it out of his safe. It came out of a high-end private collection, and I believe that it is an original. Again, there's no way for me to verify that. Can't really hardly feel those. Just a little bit right there at the joint. As I'm looking and feeling the forearm here, no dents, no dings. The finish looks really nice. And then you've got a few marks just in the finish, like right there, couple right here at the bottom. You know, there's some marks in the finish, no big deal. Again, it's not a brand new cue. If this cue was new, it would be a really, really high price tag, and I don't even know that he would build it with the material that it has. It is signed by Richard Harris right there in the forearm. So again, you've got a few marks on the butt, no big deal. You know, if one of you wanted to buy it and it was going to be your forever cue and you wanted to get it refinished or maybe get a leather wrap put on it, that wouldn't be the end of the world. But for somebody that just wants a world-class playing cue, something that's going to hit like King Kong, and you don't care about feeling the rings a little bit or cleaning the shafts up, there you go. As far as the price goes, the price is the price. I'm below market on it. And the reason I say that, again, this cue has really, really, really expensive wood. That stuff is so hard to source. You've got that natural white joint, and you just don't see bluegrasses that are made like this. I've never seen another one just like it. In fact, most of them that I've seen personally have just been the Merry Widows. I know there's some big ones out there. People just don't seem to pull them out very often or let them go. So there you go. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. This is your main man, Eddie P. at Crossroad Cues. You know the name, you know the reputation. If we haven't done business, do yourself due diligence. You should know who you're dealing with. Google Crossroad Cues. You're going to see what people have to say about us. If you've bought from us before, you know that we wrap and pack extremely well, and we will ship this bad boy to you lightning fast. If you're watching this video on any platform, make sure that you check in with me because our inventory moves very fast, and the website is updated usually within 1 day of getting anything or selling anything. We do our best. Our YouTube channel is not always updated. It is currently in stock, but you can blink your eye and it could be gone. Bluegrass by Mr. Richard Harris, available now at crossroadcues.com.